December 22nd, so one day after the winter solstice. It's about 12:30. The sun is pretty low in the sky. I mean, shadows are long, so the lowest the sun's going to be. It's not a cold day today. It was -4 this morning, but it's probably in the mid-50s today, it feels like outside. So it feels very comfortable. And took down all the screens just because the sun's so low and it's just not very intense, especially with the fogging that all these windows have experienced here. I think that blocks down some of the sun's intensity, although the walls are just super warm. And when we look at the wall back here, of course there's the ceiling, there's the top of the tire bales there, and 1, 2, 3 tire bales, of course, kind of like that. So this basically, the sun hits basically 2 full tire bales as far as height goes. Now I put a screw in here last December 21st, a year ago, into the concrete right here. And you can see where that screw is. Let me back up here. So it's right there at the top of the sun, where the sun hits. So the sun is hitting the wall up to right there in the winter solstice. So this is as high as the sun is going to get in the middle of the day, right there. Now as the sun rises, of course, in the east and sets in the west, it's lower in the sky. So this line will actually be higher. But this spot throughout the whole day, if the sun shines all day, morning, noon, and evening, of course, this is going to be saturated pretty much all day from here down. Okay, so that's why I made that mark there, just to kind of give me an idea. Now that upper tire bale doesn't get much sun. It still is thermal mass though, so it does hold heat. It's not going to feel real warm. This will be ambient temperature that it is right now. It'll soak up, the temperature that it is in the greenhouse right now, which is, mid 80s. So it's very warm in here and humid, at least compared to outside where the humidity is probably less than 20%. And but then you touch down here and it's very, very warm. And we'll get the thermometer and put it on it. But the plant seems to be doing well in this. They seem to like it. This tomato plant that's just grown and grown and grown and blossomed is finally making little tomatoes. There's a few little ones there. This is probably a cherry tomato plant or something like that. There's some right down there. So, and it's got a few other little patches on it. The little fig tree over here is not doing badly, but it's, doing okay. There's a ladybug on it. So, it's green and it seems to be growing. And hopefully that'll continue to do well, and maybe it'll produce in the next couple of years. That would be really cool. We had a nice salad last night with Swiss chard, with kale, with a tomato that we picked from over here, and more Swiss chard. And there's a dark tomato there. There's a bunch of tomatoes on this plant, and there's some that are ripening there. And of course the squash. Oh yeah, and we had squash in our salad last night as well. And we picked a little squash and we cut it up, and that was yum. And this squash plant over here in the garden barrel is making little squashes as well. There's a nice size one over there. That's about the size we cut last night. Just something not very long, but it was nice and soft and young and just tasty, super tasty. There's some more growing there. Okay. We'll swing around here. And on this tomato plant, there's some color there and there. It's got some more tomatoes on it. The cucumber plant, I think we picked the one cucumber on it about a week or so ago, and I haven't seen any others, but I haven't gotten back there real deep to Now over here, these are just, and look at these plants. This just amazes me how these plants can have the strength inside of them. The roots are over here, it comes out of the ground there, and the stalk comes around, and they just literally wrap up in their quest to get sunlight. This is all just the strength of that stalk that's holding that plant up out there. And this little plant right here is just amazing as well, because it goes all the way to the ground. It's tracking across the ground. So it's kind of cool. Don't ask me what it is. But overall it's doing well. This is the winter solstice, so this is the lowest the sun will be, and it's still very, very warm in here. Cold winter's still coming. January is going to be the coldest month, of course, just because the sun has been so low for so long and just isn't warming the earth much during the day, and it's colder in 24 hours for a longer period than it is warm. So obviously it's going to keep cooling off and cooling off. I'm hoping the performance of this is a lot better, of course, because we do have it fully buried now. We have the walls painted dark on the back, and so that's going to help with the solar gain. And we took all the shades down in the front, so the full sun, when it does shine, which will probably be most days, is going to keep this very, very comfortably warm. And we're going to see what it looks like in the next couple months. We'll compare the graphs from last year when it was half buried to the graphs this year now that it's fully buried. That'll be fun to look at. And we can just check and see where the cistern is. The cisterns, I should say. Open this valve here. Okay. So that's the full mark. And that'll be empty down there, of course. So they're still a little more than half full. That's good. We'll shut this off, and I just put a little dead end cap on here. We'll just back up here. So we're looking at this east wall by the door here. $115, $125, $128, basically. This back wall probably isn't going to be quite as warm. Let's just see up here. Okay, 86, which is the ambient temperature in the room here, so which is awesome. 109 down there. Probably not a whole lot more there. 104. Okay, let's go over here. And so there's the screw right there. And so we'll just do right above it here. 94, 111, 115 basically. And then up here it's going to be 88, 85. And the temperature at this height is 85 as well. So I expect this wall did get some sun this morning because it was sunny. So, but it's probably cooled off some by now. It says it's 83, 80, 91. Okay, good. Now I was just curious what this little wall here in the front gets to. This is, of course, the wall that goes all the way up and down the edges. And with the sun shining on it, still says 86. There it says 95. The dirt, 97. Okay. $92. So the dirt's definitely warmer. That's the dirt that's in the sun, right? good, you know, so that's good. The thermal mass in the back is working. The gravel probably isn't warm because it's white, but this might have been in the sun for a little while here. It says 76. That flagstone little piece there says 76 as well. 81. 75. 82 in the gravel there. So the gravel's not getting much sun, partially because the sun's so low, and this wall right here blocks a lot of the sun coming down and hitting this part. But as the sun coverage, when the sun's higher in the sky, it's down here. As the sun goes lower and lower in the sky toward the winter solstice, it climbs the wall here. And so that band that the sun is warming just shifts around. We have thermal mass here to soak up that solar gain there. And as the sun gets higher and higher in the sky, it does the same thing. Okay, cool.